Hello, this is Cynic again, and this is the next part of my... Well, it's still not a Let's Play, it's just me playing Dark Souls. And today I'm going to go through the Undead Burg, so let's go up here first. I thought I'd try actually parrying this guy, but as you can see, I failed at it pretty hard. I decided to just kill him instead. If you get good at parrying, it's a really useful skill, but the problem is, it can be kind of hard to time properly, and if you don't practice a lot, you generally won't get it, and you'll probably miss a lot with parrying. And I missed a strong attack there. Don't know why it didn't just kick that guy off. You can actually kick in the game. And it would probably have been easier to just kick him off than just slashing at him. And now we're going to take care of this guy. Yeah, I'll run around them, they can't really handle that. And backstab. Backstabbing is also a really useful thing. You can deal with quite a few enemies this way, and it's for the most part just running around them and actually trying to get behind them. It's best if you block one of their attacks and then run behind them, because they're usually stunned for a short while after being blocked. But parrying is actually better, and then you can do a counter attack, or riposte as it's called, which will actually be a whole lot better for overall for damage. It'll do the same damage as backstab usually. Pick up another soul here. And we're going through the waterway. There's a gate at the end here we can actually pass through, but not yet. We need a specific key before we can actually do that. Or maybe we just need to open it from the other side. I can't remember. Either way, we can't actually do anything yet about it, so let's just continue. Again, most of the enemies you'll meet here, at least in the upper parts, aren't really that big of a problem. For the most part I just, well, try not to get too damaged and kill everything I see. There's nothing else here. And if we go down here, there's some barrels here we can smash. Most newer players should probably go this way, just to get everything. It's not really required. Most people generally just try to get through the Undead Burg as fast as you can. But I try to get every item I can possibly get in a level. So yeah, I always go down here. Now I was thinking I could sneak up and actually knock them off the ledge there, but unfortunately I couldn't. You'll see later what I mean. Basically, they're hanging off the ledge, and if you're fast enough, you can actually knock them down. As you'll be able to see over here. Walk up, slash, and you'll knock them down, and they die. Now, these two will always get up before you can actually knock them down, so don't even try. I was being stupid here. The thing you need to do if you're just going to block them is basically wait for both of them to attack you. And after both have attacked you, within relatively short amount of time of each other, you will actually you'll be able to cut them without being attacked yourself, which is a way to avoid damage. Which is very important in this game. You have to avoid as much damage as you possibly can, because if you don't, well, you're going to die a lot. So try to get better at actually avoiding damage and blocking damage. There's a lot of different ways to actually to get around damage, to basically ignore damage. So why you don't use them is beyond comprehension. The best way to avoid damage is dodging, but you can't dodge everything. And here we have a big dragon. Well, it's not actually a dragon, it's more like a giant drake, and there is a distinction between the two in this game. A drake is basically hind legs and wings, I think. Yeah, something like that. But they're less a type of dragon and not generally counted as being as strong. Just digging around here, really. That guy with the crossbow shooting at me is pretty annoying if you're a new player, but well, as long as you keep moving, he's not too big of a problem. You can hear when his attacks go off, so just go by that. And he's dead. And we actually got a light crossbow. That's not too bad. But yeah, I'm gonna go down here, because there's actually our next merchant right over here, who actually sells us one of the keys we need, and he also sells us... He can also sell us the bottomless box and the repair kit. But I probably won't pick those up. Well, I will pick the bottomless box up, because it's a really good item. And I will pick up a bow and some arrows, I think. And I'll show you later why I want to get those. If I can actually get all of those in one go, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, dance around these guys and stab them in the back. That's the best way to deal with them. Otherwise they will slaughter you. They hold up their shield, and unless you two-hand your weapon, you'll have a very hard time destabilizing them and knocking them flat-footed. And there's a guy over here which you have to be careful of, otherwise he will attack you once you're when you're talking to the merchant, and you might accidentally hit the merchant. And if you kill an
Well
NPC,
now, you seem to have your wits about you, hmm?
they're
Then you
gone.
are a welcome customer. I trade for souls. Everything's for sale.
Love his laugh.
Things are getting treacherous in these parts. A horrible goat demon has moved in below. And up above, there's that humongous drake, and a bull demon too. If you stick around this place, it might end up being your grave.
I'm not gonna die.
Here, I'm not here to chit-chat. We talk business, or we talk nothing at all.
Yeah, he's kind of a cool character actually, and pretty much insane. He has something he refers to as Julia, which a lot of people think is the barrel, because he seems like he's petting the barrel. It's actually a sword, an Ochi katana you can pick up later. Or, well, you can pick it up, buy it from a merchant later, or you can kill this guy and actually get it right off the bat. But yeah, this guy sells all of the starting weapons as well as the chain set, and they're decent items. I mean, if you really want to get a different weapon than the one you started with, you can get it here, but it's not really worth it in my opinion. But yeah, I got the
Thank you
bottomless
kindly.
box, a bow and some arrows. And I'm going to go pick up some more arrows actually. Just gonna spend some of these souls.
Oh, I hope you've brought plenty of souls. Oh, thank you very much. Come back. back soon?
But yeah, I didn't actually need to get all these arrows. I only needed to get around 40, maybe 50. Yeah, I'm gonna destroy your shit here. What are you gonna do about that, huh? And that's a kick. This is just me showing off the kick. The mighty boot. You can actually kick almost anything. A lot of these things are destructible, and no matter what you do to them, even if you roll into them, I mean, some of this stuff looks pretty sturdy, but just rolling into it is apparently enough to make it blow up, or even kicking it. I mean, I know a guy who can probably kick through a wall. He can't make things explode by kicking them. I'm not entirely sure what's happening here. I think he's trying to climb up the ladder, but he's being blocked, so he can't actually get there. But yeah, if you don't move ahead too fast, you can actually fight these guys two at a time, which is a lot better than just rushing in and having to deal with all four at the same time. Because you can just line them up and kill them like that. Now, the longsword I'm using is actually one of the better starting weapons. I really like it because it's very versatile. And you can upgrade, and when upgraded, it still does a pretty decent amount of damage. I actually tend to make a divine version of the longsword because it's a pretty decent weapon. I should be using a divine mace instead for the catacombs, because it's mostly skeletons there anyway. But I still like to have a decent moveset for my weapons, and the longsword has one of the best movesets, so I tend to prefer that. Or I tend to go with heavier great swords, stuff like the bastard sword. I don't know how the hell I hit those barrels, but oh well. But the bastard sword is a really good weapon as well. I really like that. It's not the best weapon. You get some weapons later on that are a lot better, but I still like it at the point where you can actually get it. It's also fairly nice when it comes to stat requirements. You don't need way too high stats, and just I have a thing with barrels. Don't ask. I tend to get in the way and stuff when I'm actually fighting, so I tend to just break them whenever I see them. I don't know why I went in here to level up. I don't actually have enough souls, but yeah, let's just look around. I'm going to throw most of this stuff in the bottomless barrel because I don't really need to be carrying around everything. I might use the wooden shield here instead of the Heaver shield, but the Heaver shield is actually better. As you can see, the Heaver shield blocks 100% of physical damage, the wooden shield doesn't, but the wooden shield doesn't weigh as much. So it's actually somewhat better in some aspects, but not really that great in other. And here we have another player. I'm not entirely sure what item sets he's wearing, but actually I think I do know, but I'm not gonna spoil it. It's a pretty big spoiler, so I won't talk about it. But yeah, I am playing online. This is also why I'm not playing as human, or at least I'm trying not to. Which is also why I'm going to do this. Usually I tend to go and upgrade this bonfire because it's a good central location. Most of the central bonfires I tend to light up, at least upgrade once, so I can get 10 Estus flasks every time I, every time I rest at that bonfire. So right now it only gives me 5, and an unupgraded bonfire only gives you 5 Estus flasks. An upgraded one gives you 10, and you can upgrade it an additional 2 steps so you can get 20. But you don't really need to do it with all of them. But yeah, I don't like being human while I'm playing online, so I suicided here. Thankfully I don't have to go too far to actually pick up my souls, as I noticed here. I just have to turn around and they're right there. There tends to be only a small amount of distance between where you died and where your souls actually end up. I'm not sure how to determine where it's going to end up, but it is to ensure that you don't get stuck on ledges or fall off trying to get to your souls because you made some stupid mistake. Or if you jump to a lower platform and died through the jump and you don't have to run through the entire level because you were trying to take a shortcut. It's stuff like that, I imagine. Now, these guys are actually one of the reasons I got the bow. And you should... almost every character should at least try to have one ranged weapon and one close ranged weapon. It's just better overall, because if you don't have any ranged attacks at all, it's not... you tend to run into problems. And you can't really aggro specific enemies. Like basically that's one of the reasons I always have a bow on me. It's so I can aggro enemies if they're in large groups, and I know I can pull one or two at a time. I'll be showing it off later, but not in this video. And yeah, by the way, I am doing the commentary on these videos post. In other words, I recorded this gameplay yesterday actually, and I'm doing the voiceover now because, well, I don't really see much of a reason to... I can't really record the voiceover while I'm playing. Dark Souls doesn't really allow that. It's a fairly difficult game if you're not concentrating. And I'm actually not that great while I'm recording, probably some kind of stage fright or something, or just a let's play curse again. Every time you try to do something on camera, it ends up going badly. Yeah, I got stabbed there. But yeah, now he's going to die. Now, the gate there we can actually pass through. We have to go from the other side, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, does not open from this side. There's a lot of doors like that, but there's also a lot of doors you can open with, for example, the master key, where you just... basically doors where you just need the key. And if you have the master key, it will open a lot of those doors. But you shouldn't always do it, because you might actually risk going into a high level area and get yourself killed and lose all your shit. You won't lose items in this game, but you will lose all your souls and all your humanity, as you can see up in the upper left. Actually, I have one humanity on me right now. That's because I haven't killed the boss in this area yet, and I've been killing a lot of these undead warriors. If you kill a certain amount, you get an additional humanity, and you can keep doing this infinitely, basically, until you kill the area's boss. Once you kill the area's boss, you won't get humanity this way anymore. But yeah, I just ran up the stairs there to drag those guys down here, because they're easier to deal with here, because this guy throws fire bombs. And when you're fighting those other two guys, while this guy is throwing fire bombs at you, it tends to be an unfavorable situation. So yeah, Dark Souls is basically all about trying to create the ideal situation for you, not the enemy. Because the enemy has all the advantages, you just have to try and get make your own advantages. But yeah, this door over here you normally use, you normally need the residence key for, but seeing as I have the master key, I don't care. And this chest holds gold pine resin. Yeah, that adds a lightning effect to our attacks, which is really good. I'll be using one later, in a moment, to take out the boss of this area, because we are nearing a boss right now. But they're really good. They give you an additional amount of damage, a decent extra amount of damage, and it's really helpful to actually use this when you're dealing with bosses. You can also get some spells that actually give the same effect. There's magic weapon, which is basically a sorcery that allows you to make your weapon magical, and it'll last for a certain amount of time, but also do additional magic damage. You can also upgrade your weapons to actually have elements, for example, as lightning, fire, divine, as I talked about earlier, chaos, and is there more than that? There probably is. I can't remember right now. But yeah, this is another trick I normally use. This guy, if you walk up these stairs, this guy will usually push that barrel down, and it'll hit you unless you roll at the right time. I can never time it accurately, so I just go over there and shoot an arrow in his face. Now, you can actually perform headshots in this game, and if you perform a headshot, you'll do more damage than you normally would if you hit them anywhere else. There's also a difference in damage depending on how far you're standing from the target. So if you're standing a long way away, you'll do less damage than if you're standing closer. At least with some weapons. I'm not entirely sure how it works with certain bows, for example a longbow. I mean, the longbow, it makes sense to me that the damage would actually be best somewhere around the middle of its range. Whereas if you're standing really close, you're probably not doing a lot of damage. Down here there's a Black Knight. I'm not going to try and take him on because my parrying skills are really bad right now. I really need to practice those. But I'll be back once I have better weapons and such. Now, I can go down here as well. This is basically just a shortcut. But if I go down there, I'll have to beat up Havel, which is a really tough fight right now. We really need to have upgraded weapons and armor to actually deal with him. I can deal with him because he's fairly slow, and you can also parry his attacks. So it's not too big of a problem, but yeah, I'm not gonna do it. And here we have a crystal lizard. Now, usually it's just it doesn't appear until you smash those barrels. So smash the barrel and jump down, do a falling attack like we did with the first boss, and it'll kill it instantly. Now, remember to go up here once you go to this area, because this is actually the area the boss will appear. And here you can deal with these crossbowmen before they become a problem, because they will attack you during the boss fight, and they can be quite annoying. So let's just kill those, and we get another hollow soldier helm. Now I could equip it, but it's actually a little too heavy for me. And I'm just gonna clear out some of these items. I'm just checking what I actually have. And put the gold pine resin in this slot instead. Now, I probably shouldn't have used it already, and just removing it from that slot because I might as well use it directly through the inventory, which was a bad idea, I guess, because later I actually noticed something, because the gold pine resin doesn't last that long. But yeah, here we have the boss. He basically appears out of nowhere, jumps down from the tower. We run in the opposite direction. Battle music. Climb up here, and we can actually get some decent damage on him by doing this. Because now we can jump down and stab him in the face. Now, if you think you're safe up there, if you stay up there in case you want to avoid actually fighting him, or just if you want to throw firebombs or pyromancies and stuff against him, it's a really bad idea to try that, because he can jump up there and he will kick your ass if you're standing there for too long. But as you can see, the gold pine resin buff gives a decent amount of damage, additional damage. His attacks aren't too hard to avoid, but you have to consider the fact that you're in a fairly small place. Here the gold pine resin actually ran out, but I decided, and I didn't really notice, but I decided this is going to be way too close if I'm going to do it without that buff. So I went back a little, then forward, because now he's at around the middle of the bridge, and if I sprint over here and climb up the ladder, I can actually make it and climb up, and he won't be able to hit me. And I'll be able to do another dropping attack on him. A little risky, but still, it's worth it, really. Because that's quite a lot of damage you're doing right there. I mean, with the Gold Pine Resin, I did 400 damage. He has like 1200 or something like that. That's almost half his HP. And now he's dead. And he almost pushed me off right there. So yeah, you can die as you're killing the boss. That's pretty that's pretty annoying. Some bosses actually have AoE attacks that will kill you just as you kill them. And if they kill you just as you kill them, it doesn't count as a kill. So you have to redo it. Or maybe it does. Actually, I haven't tried it that much. The couple of times it's happened to me once, and it didn't count as a kill then. But that's because the boss actually died after I died. And it didn't count it as a win. But yeah, I'm just gonna spawn the dragon here. If you've seen other people play Dark Souls, you already know what's going to happen. And I was standing a little too close there. But yeah, you get some additional souls here by aggroing the dragon, making it kill on all these guys. So now I'm actually at 5,000 souls. I should find a bonfire soon. We'll find one in a moment.
Hello. You don't look hollow, far from it. I am Solaire of Astora, an adherent of the Lord of Sunlight. Now that I am undead, I have come to this great land, the birthplace of Lord Gwyn, to seek my very own son. You find that strange? Well, you should. No need to hide your reaction. I get that look all the time.
Yeah, this is Solaire.
Oh, aha. So I didn't scare you. I have a proposition, if you have a moment.
He's a great guy.
The way
just
I
wants
see
to
it, our
help him.
fates appear to be intertwined. In a land brimming with hollows, could that really be mere chance? So what do you say? Why not help one another on this lonely journey? This pleases me greatly. Well then, take this. We are amidst strange beings in a strange land. The flow of time itself is convoluted, with heroes centuries old phasing in and out. The very fabric wavers, and relations shift and obscure. There's no telling how much longer your world and mine will remain in contact. But use this to summon one another as spirits, cross the gaps between the worlds, and engage in jolly cooperation. Of course, we are not the only ones engaged in this, but I am a warrior of the sun. Spot my summon signature easily by its brilliant aura. If you miss it, you must be blind.
He's a great guy.
Oh, hello there. I will stay behind to gaze at the sun. The sun is a wondrous body, like a magnificent father. If only I could be so grossly incandescent.
But yeah, that's Solaire. If you know anything about this game, you've probably heard about him. He's an NPC that's actually somewhat entertaining, and also somewhat confusing when it comes to the story behind him and who he actually is. No one actually does know fully what the hell he is or what he isn't. Now I'm sprinting down here because in a moment the dragon should actually attack, but it didn't in this case. I think I need to move closer to actually activate it. But if you've seen other people, you also know right now, you also know what I'm going to do right now. I'm actually going to equip my bow and shoot the tail of the dragon. Just gonna stand in the right spot, take aim, and shoot. Now I'll speed this up so you don't have to watch every single hit. because this takes a long time. I think it took like 30 minutes or something like that. So I sped it up by quite a bit. As you can see here, I also cut out the audio, mainly because speeding stuff up will ruin the audio, so I didn't feel the need for it. But what I'm doing here is that some enemies actually have a special condition that if you cut off the tail, you get a special item. In this case, you get one of the best swords you can actually start with, which is the Drake Sword. It's a really good weapon that has 200 strength. It can be upgraded, but it doesn't have stat scaling, meaning it doesn't scale of strength or dexterity, which makes it a fairly bad weapon later on, but makes it a decent weapon early on. I'm just going to use it for the first couple of videos, maybe. And that's it, because I don't really like using that weapon. It feels kind of cheap actually using it, but I'm gonna get it anyways just to show people where you actually get it and how you can easily get it. I mean, this takes a long time, but it's really easy to do and you never take any damage from it. You do need to buy a bow and arrow unless you're an archer though. So it's not really a great solution, but it works. If you get my drift. But yeah, I should be around. No, there's another couple of arrows yet. And almost now. Shouldn't be one more. Yeah, there we go. A total of 36 arrows is what it took me, but remember I have boosted my dexterity and my strength, so I'm doing a little bit more damage, but I'm actually not entirely sure whether or not it's damage or the fact that we just hit it, the number of hits, that actually determines if the dragon drops his tail. I'm not sure if it's the damage on the tail itself or if it's the overall damage or what it is. And I actually forgot that I just got the Drake Sword and I don't have enough strength for it yet. I almost went with this level up because I thought, well, I don't really need any more stats, but then I remembered, oh shit, the Drake Sword actually takes 16 strength. I need to go correct that. So I get 2 more strength here. This is why I might go with a strength build, by the way, because I already have more strength than I have dexterity. So why not? I might also go for a quality build, that might actually be a better idea. I can get the halberd not far from here, and the halberd is actually a really good weapon, so I might consider doing that. But yeah, I'm going to equip it this time and run around with it. And I'm going to run up here, run over here to avoid fire. It kills those guys again and I get some additional souls. Never a bad thing. But yeah, now I'm actually just going to wait. The dragon should be down here momentarily. Because if you wait here, it'll just try and go for you. And there it takes off. Now I actually ran a little too late here. I would have made it much better if I ran early. But I managed to avoid damage. Now, if I hadn't shot off the tail from under the bridge, I could actually have used my longsword and then another pine resin and cut his tail that way. It will a couple of hits with R2 if you two-hand the weapon will actually be enough to take the dragon's tail that way. It's a bit more risky because you're not guaranteed to actually get the item, but it does mean you don't have to spend nearly as much time. Yeah, if you can actually pray to that statue there, but this video is almost over. I had planned on going to the next church, but because I actually decided to take the slow way of getting the dragon's tail or the Drake Sword, I didn't actually prepare properly. I didn't know how much time I'd actually spent already. So this video is going to be a little different in length. Now, you can open the gate here. Now there is another way you can actually get past this point. If you get to the midway point on the bridge and go down those stairs, and down where I actually where I shot the dragon, if you continue along that path, you can actually go to a door below here that will take you to some to a cellar where there's some rats, and you can kill those, climb up a ladder, and you'll basically be on the other side of this gate we just opened. But the problem is you won't be able to get this bonfire if you go that way. And it's a good idea to get this bonfire, especially if you want to be a Sunbro. Because to join the Sunbro Covenant, you have to pray to the statue behind the bonfire. I think that's it. I never actually joined it myself, so I'm not 100% sure. But that covenant actually gives you access to one of the only pure damage spells or miracles actually you can get. That's faith-based, and they're really good. But you need to farm a lot of sun metals to actually get them up to a decent amount of damage. But it's still the best damage you will get as miracles. So if you have a faith build, that's a really good idea to do. You don't need to be part of the covenant either to actually use those skills. But yeah, if you're going faith builds, that's what I would go for. But anyways, this is the end of the video, so I keep forgetting I can't use gestures if you're too close to the bonfire, but that's it for now. I'll see you later.